guys, welcome back to Build an Engaging Facebook Messenger Bot that Converts. And we're finally here. It's the final part, part 4. We just went through everything you need to know about building your bot and building your acquisition bot. And now we're going to actually work on building our monetization bot, aka making that money. So I'll let Molly take it from here.
Hey guys, so what I was thinking about this monetization bot, because for example, most of the examples I've heard for the bots you guys are thinking of building, most of you are going for generating the customer, which is great, right? Like they're pretty, go get them bots. And so with that type of campaign, a lot of times that will do what you need it to do in terms of you're generating the subscribers, the lead, and the customer. In terms of a monetization bot, so the way I want to do this section is to give you guys two options, right? So if you have a business that has a ton of unconverted interest. So what I mean is you have a ton of leads, a ton of website traffic that hasn't converted into a customer. I want you to focus on a monetization bot, and we're about to go through that. But the last part of this is about broadcasts, right? Which broadcasts aren't really bots. Just think about sending an email broadcast out to your list. We're going to talk about how often you should send those, what types of broadcasts you can send. So if you are in a place where you don't have a ton of unconverted interest, you feel good about your acquisition bot, you feel like it's going to acquire customers for your business, then I want you to focus on a broadcast strategy. Does that make sense to you guys? So you can kind of decide how you want to go about this. If you want to do the broadcast strategy, you're probably not going to use the extra worksheet. It will be a lot simpler than the monetization bot, but you can kind of choose, or you can do both. So both of those are here in this presentation, because think about the monetization bot as another funnel, right? A funnel that's there to re-engage people, that's there to get people to come back and buy again, right? If you sell a product that can be purchased multiple times, it would be really smart to follow up with some sort of ad or growth tool, or even an email that links out to a ref URL that's getting them to re-engage with you. But aside from that is your broadcasting strategy, which is very similar to an email strategy. You know, here at DM, there's a calendar for the emails that are going to be sent every month. The volume in Messenger, you should never send as many broadcast messages in Facebook as you would email, but there are some really powerful ways to build that strategy. So we're going to talk about both of them separately, but I just want you guys to feel like you can work on whatever fits best, and you'll probably figure out as I go through this which one you want to work on. But happy to help however. I just wanted to give you the option. Yes, ma'am. Do you want to go over it?
Yeah, I was working on it. I kind of like to do that, but we can do that at the end if you want.
Yeah, I think let's go through this part here, and then I'm happy to look at things afterwards. And also, how does this cycle work in terms of me giving feedback again? I think there will be a time.
Yeah, they're going to have a Q&A call specifically for any questions that weren't answered here, and that'll be on Friday. And then they'll have then following Friday, the critique call.
Cool. And Melina, also if you want to post it in the elite group, I'm happy to look at it. Let's go through this part, but I will definitely look and give you feedback however that works out. All right, guys, last one. Okay, cool. Building your monetization bot. This is the same structure here for this worksheet. You're going to have a different goal, right? If you decide to also build a monetization bot campaign, the goal is, and I made an error there at the top of this, your goal probably, it could be Messenger subscribers, because you could be converting your email list over to Messenger, right? So that could be a goal, but I really want you to think about re-engagement and getting people who haven't purchased to come purchase, or getting people that have purchased to purchase again or to purchase another product, right? So we're deeper in the customer journey with this bot is really what I'm wanting you to think of, right? So this bot would be sent through email. I'm going to show you an example of that. Maybe you send an email to your list that use a ref URL and it triggers this bot. Maybe you're using retargeting ads and you're retargeting people who have visited your website, right? We're just thinking a bit further down funnel is what makes this one different. Is that cool? Okay, awesome. So this worksheet is exactly the same. We'll talk about that here in a little bit, but let's get some ideas. So this is a great example of turning an email list into a Messenger subscriber list. This is also a great example of not only turning your email subscribers into Messenger subscribers, but also converting people who haven't purchased into customers. So this one does both. So this is a company, Easy Pay Direct. They're here in Austin, and they sell merchant services. So this is a bit of a dry topic, but they're trying to generate high-ticket leads, right? That's their business model, right? And so again, what this company really needed from me was, hey, we've got this email list. We want to move them over to Messenger, but also we have all of these unconverted leads. How do we turn them into customers? So just to give you the backstory here. So what we did, and before I click over, the email's kind of lengthy. What we did is we came up with this concept of a merchant commerce score. So we were trying to think of a way that we could get people to give us the data that we needed to know if they're qualified to work with us, right? Like what Ralph was asking, what's your revenue? Like, let's figure out if this person's qualified for these services. But we also wanted to make it fun because these people didn't apply, right? They're just sitting on the email list. We also wanted to make it fun so that they wanted to apply. It wasn't just a, hey, want to work with us? Click here, right? So we came up with this idea, something enticing that we knew they would want, and called it the Merchant Commerce Score. So it's kind of, we position it as like it's a credit score for your business, right? And so if you're a business owner, this might be interesting to you because we're going to ask you a bunch of questions about your business and spit out a score and tell you where you stack up against other people in your industry, right? Back to this introspective thing that people are looking for. So this email is a little lengthy, but I want to read it all to you. How healthy is your business's commerce operation, right? And again, this is going to the email list. How do you compare to the industry standard? Until now, there's never been a way to judge the commerce health of a business with just one number. FYI, in case you didn't know, revenue isn't always the best indicator. As consumers, we have credit scores to judge our financial health and how we stack up against others. So I'm just setting the stage here, right, as to why this is important. Businesses have long needed one go-to metric to judge commerce health. That's why we created the Merchant Commerce Score. It's like a credit score for your bank account. This score is based off of a few data points from your business and is a number out of 100. Take the quiz now. We'll ask you a few questions in Facebook Messenger, right? So we just sat down for 30 minutes and it was like, what creative thing would this person want, right? That would allow us to collect the data we needed to see if they were qualified, but also give them some value, right? So you click, we used the ref URL here to start this sequence. We also used JSON ads, retargeting people who visited his website that goes into the same sequence, same messaging, right? So hit the email list, retargeted people who had visited the site but weren't customers. So you click, it says, first things first, what's the name of your business, right? These are silly answers. Larry's hot dog. Great. What industry are you in? And these had multiple buttons, just like Ralph's. I did both of them very similar. It's just this has a different why behind it. Nice. We work with a lot of, there's a typo, a lot of companies in your space. What's your billing model, right? And these are all things that I got from the client. I said, Brad, what are the things you need to know, right? And he's like, I need to know the name of the business, what industry they're in. I need to know what the billing model is. I need to know what is your estimated annual revenue. Okay, great. What's your refund rate in an average month? He needs to know that. So we said, what's your refund rate? Refund rates vary by industry and also how you market your company. Total sales divided by total refunded. Just type that number here in chat and press enter. I was worried that people wouldn't know how to calculate that, so that's why we gave some extra instructions. Great, thanks. Next, what's your chargeback rate? Same thing, they're just entering numbers here. All of these are pushing back to Salesforce is what he uses. So all of this is going into the CRM. Awesome. What's your effective rate? Great, we're almost done. What's your decline rate? How many merchant accounts do you have? So that's everything that he needed to know. All of this data is being pushed back to Salesforce. When someone finishes this, and you can actually see, because I was an admin on this when I did this, the consumer doesn't see this, but this is what the admin sees. Mini chat notification, Molly Pittman just finished the Merchant Commerce Score quiz, right? So his sales team is getting those notifications. So it's like, okay, this person finished, let's hop in. You're finished. Thanks so much for answering your questions. We have the info we needed. One of our certified payment specialists is currently working to calculate your score. So we didn't set up any fancy calculations here. It's like if someone's filling this out, the sales team had a PDF that they could just pop the numbers in, an Excel sheet, they could just pop the numbers in and it did the calculations, right? But it feels higher end that someone's calculating this manually, right? And that's needed for this price point of what he's selling. We'll reach back out in the next 48 hours with your score, right? Again, setting that expectation and how it stacks up against other businesses in your industry. Until then, if you have any questions, feel free to click below to talk to a human. When you click that, it notifies them again, like this person's really trying to chat. So this was all we did. So we collect the information. The salesperson puts that into the doc. It took them like 5 minutes, but we let a little time go by. They prepare that document. It has like some cool graphs. It turns into a PDF. Same thing with Adam with Tier 11 hopping back in to follow up with the lead. They're, hey, so-and-so, thanks so much for filling this out. Here's your report, right? And they gave they'll give a little analysis, right? Here's your score out of 100. Here's how it stacks up against other people in the industry. Would you like to get on a call to talk about how we can improve this score, right? So we have the score, which is what the person's interested in getting, but now we also have the information we know to see if they would be a good client, but we also have the information we need to move them to the next step in the journey, right? Let's hop on a call. Let's talk about this score and how we can improve it. So I just wanted to show this to you guys. This was a great way for him to take a bunch of leads that hadn't taken action, still collect the information he needs to see if they're qualified, but also giving them value too. So this is a pretty cool one. Again, we did ads for that also. And you guys have seen this, but this is basically, essentially that's a lead magnet, or you could even call it a quiz. But we did the ref URL in an email, we did the JSON ads, opens in Messenger, asked all the questions we needed, and then manually followed up. So really simple, but a really cool way to engage your audience. Any of you guys could come up with a little quiz for your market and email that out to your list, right? People love quizzes. Go to BuzzSumo and type in your market and quiz and see what other quizzes people have created in your market, right? And the ones that have been shared the most. That will give you a head start on what quiz people are interested in. Just make yours a little bit different. But you can build out a simple quiz, and whether you want to make it so that you're doing the calculations and everything's automated in here. You can totally do that. Or you can just manually follow up like we did, which was a choice because he had a sales team. And the volume of these leads aren't insane, right? We're talking merchant services. This isn't like the most riveting topic. So I just wanted to show this. It's a great bot campaign to use to re-engage people. Just a simple quiz that gets you what you need as the marketer, but also gives them some value. Same thing here. The quiz could have ended in, hey, it could have been, which type of tennis player are you? Take this quiz. You ask them a few questions, depending on how they answer. It's like, you're this tennis archetype. Like, this racket is best for you. Oh, we sell that, right? These clothes are best for you. We sell that too. So just to show you, how easy that can be. And again, you're telling them more about themselves, which is what they're interested in. Any questions on this one, guys? Cool. Okay, so this is a really interesting one. Definitely check out this brand. So this was another one of the bot makeovers this company won with ManyChat and Facebook. And what's cool about this company is that they make shoes, and they're made to order in Pakistan, and it takes 30 days to make the shoes. So they don't really, when we first started talking to them, they're like, look, we don't really have an acquisition problem, right? Because the first thing we asked was, what's the biggest issue in your business? We're trying to build a bot that solves that, right? And they said that their biggest issue was refunds. And the problem was that the shoes were sized a bit differently than we're used to in the US. But if you ordered the wrong shoe, and then it takes them 30 days to make them, and then the refunds, right? It's not like they can't sell those shoes to anyone else, really, and then you're on another 30 days. It's a problem for their business. And so we built, this is a monetization bot, re-engagement. This is really a bot that helps overcome a barrier to purchase, but really solves a huge refund problem for this company. I can't remember the stat. They actually got on the stage at F8 this year and showed this, which was really cool, and reported how much it had helped their business. But this is just a really different way of thinking, right? I mean, I'm not sure how much it's affecting the bottom line, but we're at least saving money, right? So what we did is we created a size chart. So when you're on their website, you can click about sizing. It's different places. It's placed here, so we use this, the button that you guys saw, but they're also running retargeting ads. Like, hey, you check these out, you didn't buy, you might be confused about the sizing. Click here, answer a few questions in Messenger, and we'll tell you the best size for you, right? So there are multiple entry points into this. This sizing bot is really what it is. So they click, they ask a few questions, welcome. We love to help you find your perfect size in these flats, right? Again, it's about the end user. Real quick before we get started, do your feet tend to run a little wide? Yes or no? Wonderful. What US American size do you usually wear? 7. Cool. We'll log your typical size as 7. Correct or try again. Of course, all of this is saving as custom fields so that they can reference them later. Really simple. Okay, we have all of the info we need to calculate your recommended size. We'll send that to you in a moment. So there's like a little 10-second buildup. Okay, our calculation is complete. Based on what you told us, we think your best shoe size is 7 wide, right? Or whatever it's supposed to be. It's just doing a little calculation. And then, of course, they're linking to a pair of shoes that they have in that size. So are these available? You click and you go over and you're basically going to a product page. But this is a really simple bot, but it helped overcome a huge problem for them. And also what they can do is when people email in to customer service about sizing, it saved them a ton of time because it's like, hey, just go take this quick quiz. There's not so much back and forth. So I just wanted to show this to you to get your brain moving on maybe some bots that might not directly affect the bottom line, but really solve a systems problem in your business. Any questions on this one, guys? Kind of cool? Little cool? Yeah. This is another one that you guys should definitely go just play around with their messenger. They do a great job across the board. This is just one little piece of what they're doing, but they're great to watch inside of Facebook Messenger. Okay, so this is a local business. I don't know if any of you guys work with local businesses, but I just thought this was really cool. So basically, what happens is they're selling tamales in Messenger with Stripe, like processing the payments and everything now. So I'll show you. I just quickly went through this. I didn't actually order them, of course, but one of my friends built this bot for a local client. Her name's Mackenzie. If Lieberman, her company, you can see it up here, is Orca, O-R-C-A, Marketology, M-A-R-K-E-T-O-L-O-G-Y. If you guys don't want to build the bots that are in front of you, you just want to create the strategy, she's amazing at implementing. So just a little plug for Mac there. So what happens with these tamales? They run Facebook ads. They use a messenger code that you can scan right in their store. And this is how they're doing ordering for their business, right? I mean, I haven't been to the store. You can probably pay at the cash register, but this is how they're preferring to get their orders, right? And this is just a local business in California selling tamales. If you'd like to request a dozen of our delicious tamales, click the Get Started button below. We're selling a dozen of them for only $23. We'll need to ask you a few questions. How many sets would you like? Pork, chicken, vegetarian? Do you want to pick them up hot or cold? Okay, great. What day and approximate time this month would you like to pay for and pick them up? And what's really cool about this is she has also used a calendar app here that's integrating with Zapier. So I guess in some way they're controlling the times that they want people to come pick up. So you could go and, it says, great, on Tuesday, here's our availability. So just think, about using calendar apps for something like this. What name should we put on the order? Okay, last question. If this is a good number for you, is this a good number for you in case we need to reach you? And of course, Facebook had my phone number. Don't call me, please. Facebook had my phone number. And so that was just hanging out right there above the keyboard. I just one click gave them the phone number that I had there on file. Perfect. If you need to modify your order, call us. We also wanted to let you know that when you purchase a gift card this month, you receive $5 off your order. Happy spring. Anyways, I just wanted to show this to you guys because there are a lot. We have plenty of bots on ManyChat. Actually, a huge segment of people that are using ManyChat are local businesses, a lot of restaurants. And a lot of them have figured out loyalty programs, which I know you do that too. They've also streamlined a lot of their ordering processes because ManyChat through Zapier can sync with their POS. So someone could order in the restaurant, sit there, chat with the bot, order what you want, and it syncs it back to the kitchen. So again, just some out-of-the-box ideas. And I think this is where things will go for a lot of local businesses, especially restaurants. Mike, the CEO of ManyChat, lives in Moscow, and they're really ahead of us in terms of Messenger. And that's why he became interested in this in the first place. And the first application he really saw of Messenger being powerful for businesses was people ordering their food from their phone. And he's like, oh, there's so much more that we can do with this. But just showing you a way that you could directly take an order. Like I said, now they use Stripe, but they just collected all of my information and you pay when you pick up. Really simple. Awesome. Okay, guys, any questions on that one? Cool. Any live stream questions? No? All right, guys, let's talk a little bit about broadcasting. This is a fun topic, and then we'll do a little work, and then it's over. So broadcasting, we talked about it. There are 3 different types of broadcast. Broadcasts can be scheduled for later, very similar to an email. But broadcasts are not like sequences or like email autoresponders that are automated, right? Think of your broadcasts more as, okay, what are we going to broadcast to our messenger list this week? This is something that you can send to segments of your audience depending on their tags or their information, or you can send to the entire messenger subscriber list. Now, I will tell you, I don't recommend right now where we are sending more than 1 broadcast a week. I found 1 to be a really good sweet spot. But what's really important, again, you have to be very creative about these, especially if you're trying to sell something, but you can't be promotional on the front end. So I'm going to show you a bunch of examples of this, and what you'll find is that most of these are themed, and that's really what Facebook wants us to go towards with subscription messaging, right? They are themed so that the broadcasts are expected. Like every week you get, here are your tennis tips, right? Here are your Friday tennis tips. Back to the tennis example. If they engage, then of course you can be promotional. But it's sort of, think of it in a newsletter, but not as boring as a newsletter. These should be sent a bit more predictably. They don't always have to be. But if you can think of a way to theme your broadcasting strategy and really become consistent with it so that they expect the messages, you'll see a lot more engagement. I'm about to show you one, but for the nutrition company, we send a weekly broadcast, and something broke a few weeks ago, and I couldn't get the broadcast out. And people are messaging the page like, "Hey, where are my health tips?" Right? I'm going to show you this. They're like, "I've been waiting. It's later than you guys usually send these." And it was like, wow, we've built up this need or not this need, but this relationship. They're expecting these. Does that make sense to you guys? So really think about it that way. You can do one-off broadcasts depending on what's going on in your business, but the more consistent you can be with this, the better. So the nutrition company, what we decided to do, so you met Coach Tim. So Tim's Tuesday health tips. So every Tuesday, they get a video from Tim, because that's the medium that we first introduced Tim. That is a health tip about something to do with health, right? And whenever we can, we tie it back to a product. I would say half of them that we send, if they engage, we then make a promotional offer. Sometimes we'll give a PDF. Sometimes we won't ask for anything. We're just giving value first. So I recommend switching it up. But I'm about to show you one. I don't have a screenshot of this other one I want to tell you about. The really successful one we had was we were talking about basically something to do with losing weight. He's giving health tips about losing weight. Well, they click to get more information, right? Usually I start with a question like, there was one about alcohol. I just said, "Hey, would you like a glass of wine?" Yes or no, right? And depending on how they clicked, I was like, if they said no, cool, sounds like you're not much of a drinker. If you want more information about how alcohol affects your health, or someone that does, here's a video, right? If they clicked yes, it's like, cool, I'll get you that glass of wine, but first, let's hear from Coach Tim about, how alcohol affects your health. I mean, these are silly guys, but people love them. And they see in their inbox, Tim's asking them if they want a glass of wine. It's pretty interesting. This one's a bit more longer form. This is one of the earliest ones we sent, but I just wanted to show you an example. Hey there, first name Coach Tim here with Tim's Tuesday Health Tips. Want to boost your mood, immune system, digestion, and improve skin health? Today I want to tell you about 2 odd foods that will do just that, right? there's a video, they're typing for 5 seconds, not in a place where you can watch the video. I give a little recap here. Because of this, I have a special gift for those of you who want to get probiotics into your daily diet, but may not like the taste of the 2 foods he was talking about. It's a free 30-count bottle of our Pro X10 product. Are you interested? If they said yes, I don't send them to a sales page because that's directly promotional in that message, but they said yes, they're interested, gave content first, asked if they're interested, the product directly relates to the message, heck yes, awesome, tell them a bit more about the product, and then they can click here to go get it. But I mean, 75% of people that made it over to this message clicked. 18% of people said no thank you, and that's okay. We gave them that option. Like, this wasn't the hottest topic, but I just wanted to show you this because it was a way to transition a broadcast into a message. But they're saying no thank you, they're not interested in that tip. It doesn't mean they want to unsubscribe. They're just not interested in what Tim's talking about that week, right? If they say no, no worries, we'll keep sending you useful content and health tips. Check out our blog in the meantime, right? I always try to give them something else to do. So I just wanted to show you guys this example. Every Tuesday, we send a different variation of a health tip. Sometimes we just ask a question, like, can I get you a glass of wine? Sometimes I start out with something a bit longer. I try to mix it up just to keep it interesting. But we always try to pick a topic that we then have some sort of offer for, whether it's a product or a lead magnet or something we can give them. Does this make sense to you guys? Awesome. And of course, these have, 99% delivered, 93% opened. Just really crazy. Okay, so this is one of my clients, Gabby Bernstein. So she sells books and info products. She's a spiritual leader, and she uses Messenger broadcast not really on a weekly basis. She is going to start sending out different prayers that you could do every week. Like, we're going to theme her Messenger broadcast every week to send it on a Sunday and say, hey, here's like a mantra for the week. Here's like what you should focus on this week, so that we do have something more consistent to send out that people look forward to. But in the meantime, she's been using broadcast to give people free content. And most of this goes into funnels that, like a launch she's doing, or a webinar, or a mini class. So she's just using this sort of like her email list, but in a way less promotional way. So some messages, hey, just want to remind you I'm leading a free video training on April 15th. I'll show you how to do this, this, this. Want to attend? Select your time, right? Really simple. She's in the middle of a launch right now, and Messenger and mini chats really helped her get more volume into the front of this funnel. Hey, Molly, I have something really cool. I just released a free video training. Are you interested? She asked for the email address. She sends it via email, and you can see that she also has a watch it now. Then when she releases the next video in the series, hey, Molly, my newest training video is out today. Any of you guys that have done multi-video launches, a big issue is that most people don't watch all the videos. So this is really helping with consumption because she knows that I opted in for the first video, so the second one is now available. Let's get people to consume, right? And then the last one, I opted in for the first one. She told me on Friday that video 2 was ready. And then Tuesday, hey, Molly, my new training video is out today. Check it out now, right? Really simple, just using it to drive traffic to different things she's doing in her business. I just wanted to show you guys. It's so simple. Yes? Speaker box, please.
That's fine.
For the 3 choices of the webinar, the free content, does she lead them live each time, or is it an evergreen thing?
I don't actually know how she did that. That was back in April before I was working with her.
Okay.
I would assume that what she did was zap this with her webinar platform, and then it works so that whatever one they selected, I'm pretty sure you would click 10 a.m. and it would say, great, what's your email? send you more information, get the email address, and now you're registered for that particular webinar. Or they could all go to the same place. Who knows? But the fact that she put different times, that makes it so much more enticing than just like, yes, register me, right? But I'll ask her how she did that. Any questions on this one, guys? Jenna, we good over there? Yeah. Okay, boom. So Ezra Firestone, most of you guys probably know who Ezra is. Ezra was one of the first people to really do Messenger. He's actually an investor in ManyChat, but Ezra has a skincare line called Boom. And I love what he does with his broadcast. It's consistent, it's not too pushy, you know what to expect, but it still makes him money and it keeps this list active, right? So what they know about their audience is that these women are really they need to know that other people are using this product and that it's worked for them, right? Like that's a barrier that they need to overcome. So what they do is once a week, they introduce you to a different customer, right? You get their picture. It's the same thing every week. What makes a woman beautiful? To Pat, it's her determination and her willingness to keep going no matter what happens. Want to hear Pat's philosophy on beauty, Molly? Yes, send it to me, not right now. Unsubscribe. I said, yes, send it to me. You click here to watch now. It clicks over to, I wouldn't call this a blog post, but a little case study page where you can meet Pat. And then, of course, Ezra's going to make you some offers at the end of that post, right? So I just really like this one because I'm subscribed every week. I meet a new person, and I'm not necessarily his market, but this is really working for him, and it's keeping him compliant, too. Does that make sense to you guys? So just thinking of different testimonials, like, for example, Digital Marketer, a great broadcast strategy would be something like this, I think, because with DM, one of the biggest things is people want to know, do their strategies, did they work for you, right? Like people want to see case studies of different types of businesses. So sending out broadcasts, it's like, let's congratulate Melina. She, did this, this, and this, and she doubled her business, even going back to the mission. But just another idea, something that this market cares about, and a way for him to consistently broadcast to these people. Cool. Any questions on that one, guys? Good to go? Okay, and then this is the last one, and this is an example of being super consistent. And if you do come up with an idea where you are sending something that people really find valuable, you could do it every day. It would just need to be very valuable to them, right? Wall Street Journal, every morning, I have a news digest from them in my messenger, every single morning. And that's okay because they're the news, right? They're allowed to do that. I'm also subscribed to a weather app that sends me weather every day. I'm subscribed to an inspirational quotes bot that sends me inspirational quotes. So if you can think of something that could be more frequent and that fits your business model, there's nothing wrong with doing more than one broadcast a week. You just need to make sure that this is not promotional and that it's something that they would want every day, right? So Wall Street Journal, all you get, your Wall Street Journal news digest, right? Obviously, we know how Wall Street Journal makes their money. They want us to go read their stuff and spend time on their site. So they've simply created a little carousel here of the different news articles for the day. And you wake up every morning and it's there, right? Really, really simple, but it's keeping them front of mind. And people routinely check that every day. So just another example for you guys. And this is really, like I said, what Facebook is wanting to see from us are broadcasts that are really consistent and something that people want, right? Like what Gabby's doing is fine, but you wouldn't want to do that more than once a week, right? Like sending people random broadcasts. But if you can come up with a really consistent idea, like again, for DM, once a week, you could send a little digest of the new blog post podcast, and just a little carousel to get people interested. And then, of course, if they click to, I would always have a button, like where they screwed up is they're not asking people to type anything. But they also don't have anything to be promotional about, right? But I would, always make it so that, they're clicking and resetting that 24-hour window in case you do want to be promotional. Any questions about this one, guys? Jenna, any live stream questions?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so this comes from Rich. He says, with something like the Wall Street Journal example, could you ask them when they'd like a reminder to read the article? Like if they don't have time at the moment to read the message?
If you could ask if they want a reminder, like
Yeah.
in the message?
Yeah, ask them like when you'd like a reminder to read it.
Yeah, you could definitely do that. You could even create, like for something like a news digest, what I would do if I were them is I would create 3 separate lists that are different frequencies. So people that want the news every day, people that want the news once a week, people that want the news seldomly, only when there's breaking news, right? And when you go to subscribe to this, that's the question I would ask, so that they are then controlling their frequency, and then you're just sending out 3 different broadcasts to the different lists depending on what they want. I don't know if that answered his question.
Yeah, I
but
think that makes sense.
there's a lot that you can do there to make sure that they're only getting messages that they do want, right? And that doesn't take much more of your time. It's just creating 3 separate tags and being aware that you have, a segmented email list now.
Okay. And then Carol has a question about, would you do this for a digest of an email list or use new content only? Like in the case that the same people are subscribed to both.
Yeah, I think it's totally fine to just reflect what you're sending in email and Messenger, because like I said, most people are not going to be in both platforms. And even if they are, that's not offensive to see it. Cool, I got this in Messenger, I got it in email. I can choose where I'm consuming this. So yeah, Carol, absolutely, you could send, I've got the camera's figured out now. You can, there are lights. You can send, I lost my train of thought there. What were you talking about?
You can send digests.
The digest, yes, absolutely. You could send, I'm sure the Wall Street Journal also sends a daily email. I'm not subscribed, but I would assume it's the same articles, right? So there's nothing wrong with doing that in both places. Same thing with DM. We could totally, I don't know if the newsletter still goes out, but that could be sent in Messenger, right? And also, really quick, something smart to do with these guys is to also think about segmenting when you're unsubscribing here. So if you send a broadcast, every other broadcast, you should have an unsubscribe, right? Like Ezra had here. Yes, send it to me. No, not right now. Unsubscribe. I would even go as far as to give them 2 options, like unsubscribe from whatever, unsubscribe from motivational quotes, and then unsubscribe from bot altogether, right? So that way, if they're wanting to unsubscribe, maybe they just want to unsubscribe from this repetitive thing, but it doesn't mean they want to lose contact with your business as a whole. So also be smart when you're starting to segment about allowing people to unsubscribe from certain parts of your bot that they might not want to interact with. Does that make sense? Cool.
Okay.
Any more questions? Yeah. Speaker box.
For this one with the Wall Street Journal, I assume if you click on the picture, you go to the article, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And they have little share buttons there. I haven't clicked those. I'm not quite sure. I would assume that it creates a post on Facebook you can share or something like that.
Well, and where I'm going is I'm trying to figure out, could ManyChat be used as something to kind of a kind of like a blind poll? So imagine if you're the Wall Street Journal, you're pushing out articles every day. All of a sudden, you can figure out the things that people are clicking on.
Oh, totally. You can tag all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, same thing with DM. It's like social media, blogging, like the different topics, making sure that the blog post and the podcast, when they click, are just tagged with whatever topic that is. Then you know, okay, this segment of the list is interested in blogging, or this segment of the list loves the Olympics or sports. I don't know if they have those. I just experienced this, but it's a really smart way to go about that for sure. Yep.
I have a question on a specific type of brand. So Daniel asks, what would your approach be for a bot for a brand selling mouthwash, considering that consumers probably don't want to discuss their bad breath or cavities or gum disease? So they're an agency that focuses on consumer packaged goods and personal care.
Cool. Hey, Daniel. That's actually a really good question. I think that Messenger, I always make the joke about Facebook ads, like, say you're selling rash cream, you're not going to run a Facebook ad that says, hey, do you have a rash, right? Like, that's so personal. That's just not what you're going to do. No one's going to self-select because that ad is in the news feed. It's like, what if my friends see it, right? But Messenger is different. Messenger is personal, right? So I think that it is a good medium for more of these personal conversations. I think with the mouthwash, you would have to take it a step further. Like, what's something we can talk to them about? I don't know what type of content is in the business, but like talking about brushing your teeth, or maybe you could create a little bot that helps to remind you to brush your teeth. I'm going out on a limb here, but like take it a step further and say, okay, it's not really about the mouthwash. It's about, dental health. And I think something like that would be really cool, or some sort of quiz that helps them identify with, where their dental health is, or which mouthwash, if there are multiple products. But Daniel, yeah, feel free to keep putting some more information about your business in there, and we can riff on that for sure.
Yeah. And also, this is silly. I'm not the person on stage, but it just reminds me of Content and Commerce when we had, I think, the director of marketing at Casper, and he was talking about it's not about a mattress, it's about, we're owning sleep.
Totally.
So it's, about owning hygiene.
And you better believe if I was Casper, I would have some sort of regular broadcast about sleep, right? I would have a quiz about how much sleep you should be getting so that they can self-identify. That would be an acquisition bot. And then depending on how much sleep they need to get, I would recommend a certain mattress, even if it's the same mattress. But that's a great way to get people engaging, is for them to figure out how much sleep they need. But I would also send maybe you could send something every night, like a bedtime reminder. You could set up a bedtime app that allows them to select, what time do you want a bedtime reminder, and you just have, different time options, or you just let them type it in, and then you just have these different lists based off time. It's the same message. You're just scheduling them at different times. They're just sort of off the cuff, but that's a great way to keep engaging. And people love that type of stuff, right? They engage with you because you're reminding them to go to bed. Now you're their sleep expert. Now it's a lot easier to buy the mattress, for sure. And then even further down the funnel, like if I was Casper, I would have a sleep quiz for my acquisition bot about how much sleep you should get. I would do these broadcasts, like the bedtime reminders, and I would have options in there of like, I only want this Monday through Friday, or I want this every day. And then I would have more of a monetization bot that's like, which mattress is best for you, for people way further down the funnel. I don't know if they sell multiple mattresses, but if they did, take a quiz, recommend a product. I like Casper. Yeah. All right, guys. Any questions? Cool. So how do you guys want to go into this last implementation part? Do you feel like you want to work on like a monetization bot idea, are you thinking more broadcast? We can kind of split up. It's really open to whatever you guys think is most beneficial for you.
You mean like building it out right in here, or?
Yeah, so we've got the planning sheets for the monetization bot. I'm not sure if everyone will need to do both of them, right? Like, if you feel like your acquisition bot is enough for you to get started now, it would be cool to brainstorm some ideas for your broadcast, right? Or if you feel like, oh, Molly, like I've got a product that I sell multiple times over and over, or I'm like Brad with Easy Pay Direct and I've got all these leads that haven't converted. I really need a monetization focus bot. I would focus on that. So, yes, sir.
To do broadcast?
No, so all of these are just subscription broadcasts. So these are free as long, you just can't be promotional in them. But yeah, those are totally free. Yeah, it's again about creativity. I mean, that's the thing about this, guys. Like, you just, with Messenger, like, you cannot be bland. Like, you both know that with the bots you've experienced. Like, not just bland in your conversation, but like coming up with things like that merchant commerce score that allowed us to give them something of value without like, hey, you looking for merchant services? You want to apply, right? Same thing with these broadcast strategies. Jenna, what do you think we should do? Just move through the cycle here?
Maybe we could do like 10 or so minutes of kind of finishing the acquisition and then moving on to monetization.
Or we're on the monetization. Is that what you meant?
Yeah,
or
well, the
broadcast?
broadcasting.
Oh, yeah.
I gotcha.
I'm totally with you. Okay, cool. So yeah, let's just spend some time. We won't spend as much time on this as we did the acquisition one, but if you do want to implement a monetization bot in your business, let's just think about like, what are the goals? And again, this is specific to your business, right? What do you need in terms of re-engaging people who have already interacted with you? Or it might be, Molly, I don't have those people, and that's okay. But I think this one is a bit less black and white than the acquisition bot because there's so many things you can do. I mean, we saw the merchant score, we saw the shoe size calculator, we saw the tamales, right? We've talked about broadcasts. Like, this really depends on what you need in your business. So, awesome. Well, Mari's working over there.
I did a sequence. I don't know.
You want to get the speaker?
It's gonna be crazy, but I did a sequence of 44 days every day.
Hey, good for you.
But it was a positive message every day with a really beautiful graphic.
Yeah.
Like a really beautiful graphic and just something positive at 8 a.m. Every time, 8 a.m. But people were, like you said, people were engaging and they all passed the 44 days, right? But I stopped because it was too much for me. So I was, I was getting not exhausted, but I was like, should I keep on doing
well, you
it?
didn't know what it was doing for your business, probably. It's
Yeah.
like, cool, they're liking this, but how do I transition?
Yeah, so, and nothing was promotional. Nothing
Right.
was promotional. But yes, I put a button there saying, do you want to receive the next one? So they hit it, and that's it. Okay, we see you tomorrow. That's it.
So when they hit that, you should just say something else. Like, great, we'll see you tomorrow. Before you go, are you interested in
Okay.
insert lead magnet
I didn't
product?
want to put something like because I was afraid that this it passed or whatever or I can't
No,
do
you've
that.
given them so much value and they're engaging. There is no problem in that. The worst thing they do is just click no. I'm not interested. I wouldn't do it every day.
Yeah.
But I see no problem in doing that. That's the perfect time when they're clicking yes, I want this tomorrow. It's like, great. Before you go, do you want to take this particular action?
Okay.
That's really brilliant. Something similar, Kindred Bravely that I showed you guys, the client that sells pregnancy clothing. So what they did, which was really smart, is they run an ad that asks how far along you are in your pregnancy. So you comment below with your the week, and I think they might ask due date too. It opens inside of Messenger, and what's brilliant is they've built this pregnancy sequence. I don't know if I can. So depending on when you enter, you're going to get a tip every week for that week of your pregnancy. Like, hey, you're on week 13, you know? You're experiencing X, Y, and Z, which a lot of sites do this and apps do this, but now it's just showing up in your Messenger. So, you know, they've got it just built week 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you know, depending on what that person comments. If they comment 8, you know, then they're able to say, okay, you know, can you retype in the week, right? Because there's really no way to comment 8 and then put them into a particular sequence. But you comment 8 and it's like, okay, great, thanks again. Can you just let us know one more time? And then depending on the number they put in, that triggers the sequence. And then they know, okay, this week 8, they're on week 8 now. So when week 8's done, when this sequence is done, tag them into the next sequence, remove them from the last one. So it's all done off of tagging. So it's this cool built-out system where depending on how far along you are, you can immediately hop in and start getting weekly tips for that. It reminded me of what you were talking about there. But definitely really elaborate and not totally necessary, but a great way to keep giving value. They did it through sequences so they could automate it versus broadcast, which would be smart of you. Instead of manually doing that, if you're going to send a quote every day, you could even turn those into sequences.
No, it was a sequence.
Oh, I thought you were manually doing it every day.
I did a sequence.
Cool.
For 44
That's smart.
days.
So really similar to what they did.
Yeah, no, he did.
Yeah, I got it right here. But
That's awesome.
And they were all transferring, you know, the 340 people, they were transferring to the next one, But just, I was getting like 97.7 up open rate. So it was like almost everybody.
They were loving it.
Yeah.
That's great. I wanted to show you guys this really quick too. Bot Academy has a lot of good information, but if you do any sort of, what word am I looking for? If you're doing, sorry guys, I'm getting tired, a giveaway, and you want, it's from Bot Academy, it's on their blog, I'm pretty sure. I can also send the link to Jenna, or I'll post it in Elite. But I saw this was a really good case study about a giveaway. This young man's going to speak at the ManyChat conference, and basically he has this bear squeeze. So it's a shake. They did a giveaway. They did it all through Messenger. So I won't go through all of it, but you can read through exactly what he did if you guys are interested in doing some sort of giveaway. I thought this was really, really smart. Converted 60% of Messenger subscribers to email. He's got a lot of good info in here, but it looks like it generated about $209,000 in sales for him. So all of this is just little strategies, right? Like, what's a little strategy that you can implement? I'll be quiet now.
Oh yeah, I forgot they're supposed to be working. But I have a question.
Yeah.
Rich wants to know, is there a recommended...
Is it Rich Thurman?
Rich Cook.
Hi, Rich Cook.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
He does mystery stories. Is there a recommended ratio of content versus promo messages? Like how often to promo something in relation to general content?
So, it's different than email to where you're not able to just broadcast to the whole list, promo and content. So you really have to lead with content, if you're wanting to reach anyone outside of the 24-hour window. So that's why I always recommend giving them button options so that they can engage with you and reset that time. So in terms of a ratio, though, so say you wanted to use sponsored messages and pay to be promotional, and that's okay. I don't have like a tested number, But I also wouldn't do one of those more than every 10 days, probably, just because people aren't used to it. They're just not used to it, and that's a really easy way to lose your subscribers. So use those sparingly if you do want to do the sponsored messages, like when you have something really big coming. Like I said with ManyChat, we just launched the conference today, so we've been saving that follow-up message so that we can send this to 2 million people versus the 13,000 that engaged with us in the last 24 hours. So I would just be strategic, but always, guys, especially until, I would say, the rest of this year, until January, like, get into this stuff. Obviously, you're here to implement. Like, build this out. Even if you're not able to say, this is how much money I made from Messenger, this is an asset, right? It's like people now that are like, wow, I wish I would have built a blog 10 years ago because it's so saturated. Really get in there, start building that list, but realize that this is going to change. This is the very beginning. In a year, we might do this workshop and this is going to look completely different. There are going to be more rules, there's going to be more structure, but for now, Facebook's trying to figure it out too, and I don't think anyone knows the right amount of promotional frequency yet, because, like I said, there's just not that many people doing it.
That makes sense. I have a question from Kathy as well.
Hello, Kathy.
She wants to know.
You guys are killing me with these lights. There's red and there's green. I'm going to look at both.
So Kathy wants to know about kind of messaging across platforms. So, for example, if you are doing Facebook Lives, should your broadcast messaging be consistent with what you're doing on Facebook Live or like Instagram Live, that kind of stuff? Should it be consistent?
Yeah, I mean, I think you should always stick to your brand voice, but also, you know, if you're doing a Facebook Live on how to have the perfect tennis stroke, I mean, the benefits of that are going to be the same no matter the platform. So, yes, definitely keep the same messaging in terms of the benefits that you're talking about, but just make sure you're catering it to the platform, right? Like on Messenger, I would say, hey, you know, want to learn how to have a perfect tennis stroke, right? Yes or no, with some little tennis balls. They click yes, great, I'm having a Facebook Live, click here to join. With email, I would send something more one-to-many that's, you know, really explaining the live and what they would learn in chunkier text. Does that make sense? Yeah. So yeah, definitely consistent messaging because, I mean, think about it. I know if I like a brand, I'm going to go connect with them in as many places as possible. Like, I love a company called Allbirds. They sell these wool shoes. They do amazing marketing too. It's a great brand to follow. If you Google Allbirds and then Ezra Firestone, there's a video that we shot about just everything that they do that's awesome. But I've followed them on Facebook, Instagram. I'm on the email list. I'm a Messenger subscriber. I'm definitely in their pixeled audience because it's a brand that I like. So, you know, when they release new shoes, like they just released some new colors today, I've seen it on Facebook. I've seen it on Instagram. I got an email about it. They used the same imagery and the same, you know, announcement, but it was just in a different way depending on the platform. It was just presented a bit differently. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions, guys? We can take some more time. My friend just sent me a screenshot, seriously, of their Instagram and said, I need the red ones. There they are. But the image, like, they use the same colors and the same shoes, just depending on the medium, you know, they'll spice up what it looks like. Cool, guys. You feel done sketching stuff out? Are we pretty good to go?
Yes.
Jenna, what should we what should we do? We've got extra time, so I don't know if the live stream people have like some extra questions, or even if we want to do some quick hot seats, like here's my business. The workshop was weird. I don't know what to do, but like Molly just spits something out. Like I'm happy to do that too.
Well, I do have a question from Trent, and I think this might be a good thing to kind of go inside the platform itself when you're building. So he asks, how do you segment inside of a sequence? I saw a conditioning block. After delivering a coupon, I'd like to know if they used it 2 days later before follow-up sequence.
Okay, so this is where integrations with your CRM become really, really important, right? Because if the purchase, like using the coupon, is not happening in ManyChat, well, the last thing ManyChat can track is they clicked to go to the sales page, which before we had the ability, well, would you mind to give me some water? I'm parched. Thank you so much. Before we had the integrations, that's the only thing I could do, right? So I would position the next message in the sequence to say things like, if you haven't already, so that it wasn't weird if they did buy, right? So number one, if you don't have the opportunity to integrate and you don't really know who's bought or not, use language like that, right? If you haven't purchased, this is a reminder. If you are able to integrate ManyChat with your CRM, then it's what we were talking about earlier. You're just going to want to pass the data from ManyChat to the CRM, so that, and then pass the data back, right? So that when they do purchase, it's now a part of their ManyChat profile that they did purchase this product, and then you can exclude them. Does that make sense? Yeah. Cool. Thank you. Yeah, if anyone wants to do hot seats, or if we have some people on live stream, more than happy. Or if you guys are tired, or you're ready for wine, whatever you guys want. We do have wine. Yes, ma'am. Speaker box.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm going to go back to the question I'd had before, integrating the scheduling.
Yeah.
I'm online trying to figure out the tech. I'm dumbfounded. So like, is it taking it from ManyChat to the scheduler, or the scheduler to ManyChat? Like if I want someone to get that schedule inside of ManyChat, I know it works because I've done it myself before with someone else, but how do we set that up in Zapier?
I haven't personally set up the calendar app. I saw Mac, the woman I referenced earlier, do it. I'm pretty sure what you would do is, so there's a zap from ManyChat to Calendly, let's say. And what that's saying is, okay, so say someone clicks that they want a call. Okay, now we're calling in Calendly and we're saying, okay, this person's interested, right?
So that's a zap from ManyChat to Calendly that
and
says
then
trigger something.
And then Calendly's sending back to say, okay, here are the next available times, right? So it's just the two communicating to say, okay, what's on your calendar, right? Because you're able to set when you're available. And then ManyChat's just saying, okay, Calendly, when is this availability? They're saying, here it is. And then they'll display it below, sort of like buttons like you saw on Gabby's webinar.
Whew, that one's going to be fun.
And if you're in the, there's a ManyChat Facebook group. If you want some more help on that, it's Mackenzie Lieberman. She's an admin in there and always happy to help. Just be like, talking to Molly about the calendar thing. She doesn't know how to do it. Can you help? She'll probably shoot you a video or something. Did you say her first name? Mackenzie, Mackensie, Lieberman. And that group's really helpful too, guys. If you get stuck on technical stuff, there are a lot of people in there that are happy to help. Hey.
Hey, so feel a little dumb asking this after a full day on ManyChat,
No worries.
but we've got automation, sequences, and flows.
So there's, okay. So automation is just the header the category of the things that are below it. So automation is just a word that I use to say anything that you want automated, right? Like broadcasts aren't automated. So they just have that tab in there to say, okay, everything under here is automated. Welcome message, default reply, keywords, sequences. The confusing part of this is the difference between sequences and flows. We didn't talk about flows. The more bots you build, the more that flows become really valuable. But think of flows as not necessarily something you build, but a way to go in and say, okay, here are all the assets that I have, right? Here are all the opt-in messages that I've built in the past. Here are all of the sequences. And the flows really allow you to categorize all of that. But I totally understand that's one of the biggest search terms for ManyChat is flow versus sequence. So we're going to change those names and make it a little bit less confusing. Honestly, I don't use flows. I would just ignore them. I would just focus on what we talked about, the opt-in message, which you're going to edit based off of the growth tool that you choose, and then the sequence that you want there for the automated part. I wouldn't worry about the flows yet.
Okay.
Is that helpful?
Yeah.
It's confusing, yeah.
Hey, Molly.
Yes, ma'am.
In the last few minutes, I have a couple little hot seats for you.
Let's do it.
Ha-cha-cha. So we have Carol and we have Chantal. So Carol's doing software, trying to acquire trial subscriptions.
Okay.
Chantal is trying to figure out how to use it in the context of her HR consultancy business.
Cool. Let's just do one at a time.
All right.
Oh, so that's
That's all you got.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so Carol is selling a software, but she's trying to do a free trial first.
Yeah.
Well, Carol, I would ask you first, what have you been using for acquisition, right? Are you giving away, you saw HubSpot, they gave away a free account for the Facebook ads part of their tool, right? They just gave away a little part of the tool. And then, of course, on the webinar, I'm sure there was upgrade. I don't know what you're doing right now, Carol. That would help me a lot. Like if you're using a lead magnet, if you're splintering off part of the software, if you're doing a webinar. If you don't have anything yet, we can brainstorm that. But if you have something that's working, I would just put that into Messenger first. There's a lot of different ways to sell software. Kajabi is one of my clients, and they really interest me because I've never worked with software before, and it's really different to sell software than anything else that I've experienced. But what I've found that works is software needs content and education, right? You look at a company like Kajabi, well, you could build out, your online course. You can build out a business, basically, in Kajabi now. But most of the people don't understand, okay, great, I'm going to sell this course. What should the course be about? How do I create this course? So what you get to do with a software, for example, with ManyChat, why did we create the free 13-hour course? We could have sold that for $2,000. Well, we're not trying to make money on the course. There's 50,000 people that have gone through that thing now that are now super educated about ManyChat and have a ton of value. Kajabi does the same thing. So they're actually the client that we changed the lead magnet ad to Messenger, and their cost per lead went down 3x. So a few things that could work for software is obviously just creating the content. So with Kajabi, we create a course in a weekend, right? It's a little mini class because that's what that person wants to do. That person, their avatar, usually has a full-time job, so the weekend is important to get it done, right? So that's just a little 3-part class. So we'll run an ad. Hey, want to create your first course this weekend? We'll walk you through, this 3-step mini class. Just click below to register in Facebook. Messenger, so they click, opens, hey, you want to register? Yes. Okay, great. Do you want to start today or tomorrow? They get to decide, or however you want to do that part. then you can deliver the first video there, or have the sequence set so that it starts delivering the next morning. And then you just know every day for those 3 days you're delivering that video. But obviously if they're engaging, on the second and third video, we're starting to make calls to action, right? There's a special annual deal. So if they're clicking to watch the videos, we just set a little delay to make sure they have time to watch the videos and say, hey, do you see the offer? Are you interested? Do you want more information? Do you want to talk to a human? But we also do one-off lead magnets, like just free reports. Those don't convert as well into trials, but they're really cheap leads. I'm kind of going on about this, but I hope that's helpful, Carol. I think it really depends on your business and what you're doing right now. But if you are deciding to splinter off a piece of the software, if it's attractive enough to run that to cold traffic, hey, get this free software, they click, you take them through the registration process in Messenger. I would include some educational videos to get them to actually use the software, which is always the biggest issue with software. If the people don't use it, they're not going to stick around. Give them some content, give them a few days to figure out the software, and then try to make that next step, get them to upgrade. Yeah. What about the HR?
Okay, so Chantal does an HR consultancy, and she says, I'm doing bugger all, she's British, on this business just yet, changing the business from largely word of mouth, working on creating content for a new site I'm building with a membership site attached.
So it's a HR consulting business.
And it sounds like it's all just word of mouth so far, so she doesn't have a lot of content.
So I'd probably need some more information on like how it's word of mouth, but is it usually like, hey, Omari, meet my friend, and then you're like, cool, you're hired, right? Like if that's your customer journey, we're gonna have to flesh out some marketing assets first before we get into Messenger. Like I would recommend going through Ryan's workshop for sure, just to get that squared away, and then take those assets and put them in Messenger. But if there's some more context, I'm happy to try to riff on it.
Yeah, she's. We have about a minute lag, so she's probably
okay.
hearing what you just said a little bit ago and gonna answer.
And she's like 7 hours ahead. So.
Yeah, she's in the future and yet in the past.
I was just in the UK. I had a lot of fun.
While we're waiting for her to answer some of this, I have another question from Daryl, who wants to know, is there a way to import emails from unconverted leads, emails from your unconverted leads into Messenger
No.
and run in re-engagement?
No, there's no, like, with all of the privacy stuff with Facebook, and ManyChat is just a reflection of Facebook, right? ManyChat is just extracting data from Facebook to basically give you more value so that you can do more stuff. So even with like the GDPR stuff with ManyChat, we had to make some changes, but the lucky thing is that we're really under Facebook's terms of service. So if Facebook is following GDPR, ManyChat is pretty much in the green. But with things like your email address, like there's no, you could upload your email address as a custom audience in Facebook and retarget them with ads, and offer them something of value, like a lead magnet or a webinar, to get them to click over into Messenger. Also, I would just send an email to your list like we did Brad's list, Use the ref URL, entice them with something, and just say you're going to register through Messenger. You're going to run a flash sale, like a simple thing I did with a client last weekend. We just did 20% off flash sale, 3 emails, and to get the coupon code, you just clicked, got the coupon code in Messenger, and they went along their merry way, right? It was a great way to, run a quick flash sale, make some money, but also move those email subscribers over to Messenger. But yeah, there's no way to upload data into ManyChat. It just doesn't work like that.
It's also a little bit, that's a little bit of a blurry consent line, right?
With the...
Yeah. And that's
Like-
why it's a good compliance issue.
Yeah, well, I think what I'm getting at is like the data that is in ManyChat is only behavioral, right? Like all of the data that you see on a person inside of ManyChat is being pulled from Facebook and then added onto by ManyChat. I'm not explaining this very well, but there would be no way to just upload to ManyChat and start messaging them because that never went through the Facebook platform, right? Because keep in mind, even though you're sending the messages through ManyChat, that's the interface you're clicking from, it's sending through Facebook, right? ManyChat's just telling Facebook to send the message.
Okay.
Yeah, so that would be awesome, Daryl, if we could. But yeah, I would just upload them to Facebook, run an ad that goes into Messenger, also send an email. And the good thing about that too is say we were able to just upload that list, there's so many people in there that probably don't want to use Facebook Messenger, right? So by making them an offer and explaining that this will happen in Messenger, you're really only transferring those subscribers over that actually use that channel, which is going to make your list healthier, and you'll have more qualified people in there.
Okay. So going back to Chantal, she says, so her HR consultancy, it's usually, oh God, I have to fire someone. Please help. And she says, genuinely, that's usually what happens. A big employee problem that's too scary for them to handle themselves. And she's really busy with that, with the small businesses, and she wants to grow beyond just her.
So I wonder is she wanting to acquire new customers, or is she kind of trying to figure out how to systemize the business more? Probably
Probably a bit
both.
of both. Yeah. One kind of helps the other.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting about any business that's reactive, I would call it, like plumbers, it's like, okay, there's some general work you might do, but most of your work is because, hey, I got a problem, come help. That's why any reactive business like that, a doctor or anyone who's waiting basically for someone to have a need. I mean, AdWords is your first go-to always because you're catching them right there when they're having that problem. I mean, if you aren't doing AdWords, that's the first thing I would do. People searching for advice on, the issues that might be at hand. If you do want to do more cold outreach on Facebook, you could create some sort of guide to help people through that situation. You could even do something to where, I don't know if you would, you don't really have the manpower, but you could almost give a little bit of free advice through Messenger. I could see her on her site saying like, want to chat, and they're like, I have this humongous issue going on, and she's like, great, hire me, but almost like a hotline, like a HR nightmare hotline that you can message on Facebook. I don't know, just throwing some ideas out there.
I like that. Okay, I'm back on.
Back on.
Do you guys have any more questions?
Just last one.
Yeah.
Last one. Okay, I have a agency that I just started a few months ago. It's all in Spanish.
That you just did what now?
I just started.
Okay,
So
cool.
it's all in. We just booked a deal with 50 restaurants in Mexico.
Nice.
So I just did 9. I finished 9 bots and installing everything, and we're gonna do the other ones, right? But I'm trying to acquire more business over here in the United States. It's in Spanish.
Yeah.
I'm giving away the install of the Pixel and a free 45-minute consultation with me, and it's all cold marketing and something new. So how will you present that in Facebook ads or something like that?
Yeah, I think you said you're doing Pixel implementation.
I'm installing the Pixel for free, and
Cool.
that's what I'm telling them.
Do you think they know that they need a Pixel?
No.
No, I don't know if that's a good offer because I don't think most of them are going to be like, what's a pixel, right? Like,
Okay.
it's a good offer in terms of it's hugely valuable, but I don't think that's where their mind is.
Okay.
If I were you, I would make a bot template. So also something cool coming from ManyChat, we're going to roll out a ton of templates for like the blueprints and things that I showed you. So you can one-click install all of the functionality so you don't have to build it. But what most people don't know is that you can create your own templates. So
I got them already.
so I would give that away for free.
Okay.
But do give away a bot that is going to affect their bottom line, that they see valuable, because they're probably not even aware that they need a bot. But if it's like, hey, restaurant owner, did you know you could, maybe you even have a case study, like this restaurant generated X% more sales through using this bot template. I'm giving it away for free because I want to help grow more businesses. Click below, and then they click, it opens in Messenger. You send them the bot template link and maybe a little video explaining how to use it, just because they're going to be like, what's ManyChat? You need to give them some context.
Okay.
And then again, delay maybe a day or two, let them consume it, and then reach back out. Like, have you used the bot template yet?
Okay.
95% are going to say no, very similar to your offer. Great, want me to just do all this for you? What you could even do is just have a button, both of you, giving away that template or those dashboards in the ad. They click, you say, hey, do you want to download this? They say yes. They get the asset. You could even make a call to action in that moment. Like, hey, I hope you can, that's not good copy, but like, hey, I hope you enjoy the template. A lot of people that, have requested this template, they don't want to deal with it. They're busy. They're a restaurant owner. They're a business owner. I can do this for you. Just click below, right? I mean, you could even make that offer right there in the moment, right after they download it. It's just the positioning of like, you can have this for free, use it, but I'm here if you want me to do it for you and take it to the next level. That would be really simple to do.
Okay.
But I think a bot template, but you even need context around the template. Like, this restaurant used this bot to do this, right? Now it's not what's a bot. It's like, I need a bot because I want those results, right? Okay. And then they're going to download it and be confused probably. So did you have one?
So Dennis was talking about having your company page where you hawk your wares and you have your...
Where you what?
You sell your goods.
Okay, I was like, hawk your what?
And and then you have your public figure page where you make the connection. And so in some of these things, so let's say for me doing the executive dashboard, analytics dashboard, it's probably something better to say, hey, here's this on the public figure page. And so when do I make the transition to say...
See, I would test that, because that was something that I really worked on here. The DM brand, the Ryan Dice brand, both valuable, but in what way? Like, when do you use which brand, right? And from a Facebook ad standpoint, especially B2B, digital marketer always outperformed. And I think it's because if you're an executive, you're not in the marketing world. You're like, who's this dude trying to sell me something in my newsfeed, right? Like, if it was like Gabby Bernstein, for example, that people are going to build this relationship, hear her life story, and change their life, that's really different. You want to go with a personal page there. But with, I don't know, with B2B, I would honestly start it from just do everything through your brand page, the company page.
So that leads kind of to my next question.
Cool.
So I've got ManyChat hooked up to my business page, and I was just trying to add another page, my personal brand page, and it can't find it. It can't find it in the assets.
Interesting. So if you go to add a page, it's not popping up at all?
Nope.
And you're sure you're an admin on the page? I think there's a link where you can put the URL in. I'm not sure if that's still available. Let me take a look at it. It might be hidden somewhere. Like when we get off, I'll just take a glance and see if it's there. If not, we can send ManyChat a support message, but usually when something like that happens, it has to do with the permissions on your page. You should also check, go into the admin side of your page. There's a messages tab where there are different permissions. Make sure that you have your permissions turned on, that people can message you and interact with you on Messenger, because if you don't, well, ManyChat can't find it, because the way Facebook works is Facebook has a Messenger API, Facebook has an Ads API, right? ManyChat only reads Facebook's Messenger API. So does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So make sure those permissions are turned on. If they're not, I'm happy to look at it.
Okay. And then last
But there
question.
shouldn't be a reason, like there wouldn't be a reason that you just wouldn't be able to add the page without some little tech issue or something.
Yeah. Now, do I need a pro plan for the business page and a separate pro plan for the public figure page?
I think it just depends on what you want to do with it. Really, the benefit of Pro is that you get extra features, and you know, when you're starting to build your subscribers, you're going up in tiers. The free plan is great. If you're just wanting to let it sit there and build subscribers, you're not ready to really do anything with it yet. So I would say if you're going to do most of this through your brand page, make that the Pro account, and leave your personal page free, or just upgrade them both. I mean, it's up to you. It's just whichever one you're going to use more, make sure that that one has the features.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Cool.
Cool. Awesome, guys. And with that, that is the end of our Build an Engaging Messenger Bot That Works workshop. Weird noises. If you guys have
It's
any...
melting.
Thank you guys so much for joining us live. For those of you joining us recorded, we also hope that you enjoyed this. There's plenty of opportunity to get clarity over the next 10 days. So the dates of your Q&A calls and Elite Critique calls are a little different. We're doing it on Friday instead of Thursday. So on June 15th, 1 p.m. Central is your Q&A call. And then on June 22nd, that's also a Friday, 1 p.m. Central is your Elite Critique call. So see you guys in the Elite Commons, and thanks so much for joining us. And for those of you that are still here,